Hey everybody, welcome to our penultimate class reveal for Whizbang's Workshop, the new Hearthstone set. Soon to be hitting all the shelves in all the toy stores, right? Firstly, let's go over the card again that was already previously revealed. We'd already seen King Plush, a card I compared a bit to, Clean the Scene, which was a fantastic card for Priest. But it was more than Clean the Scene, it was like Clean the Scene Plus, and Clean the Scene is really good. It was like, I'm going to clear your minions, and then I'm going to charge you in the face and smoke you. Obviously, you would have to buff King Plush to get the full ultimate benefit of it. But thankfully, Hunter has a lot of buffing cards. They have Messenger Buzzard, Bestial Madness. They could even use something like Saloon Brewmaster if you wanted to bounce it back and reuse the effect of King Plush. Being that the battle cry was return all minions with less attack than this to the owner's decks, it was a 6/6 beast with charge for 9 mana. Fantastic. Alright, what else do we have in Hunterland? Now, you may have seen this earlier in the week, so this literally got revealed like moments before I started recording this, but it was leaked about 3 or 4 days ago. Mystery Egg, 5 mana 0/3, miniature, Death Rattle, get a copy of a random beast in your deck, it costs 5 less. And on the right is the Mystery Egg, which, by the way, please everyone in the community, can we call this a mini egg? It's nearly Easter, right? This is the mini egg. The mini egg has the same effect as a 1/1, and still discounts for 5 mana on a beast. Ooh. And there are some big beasties in Hunter still. King Crush is rotating out, and Hydrolodon is leaving as well, sadly because of the Sunken City going out. But 5 mana discount on King Plush? Okay, now you're really interesting me. 4 mana King Plush, yikes. Mr. Muckler, that's still also in Standard. Do you want a 1 mana 10/10 with Rush? That fills your opponent's hand with bananas. Yes, I do. So from this set, again, a bit of a spoiler into the future. I still think we're going to have this big beast hunter archetype, and the Mystery Egg will be part of that. And I also foresee there being an aggro face hunter beast deck. And I don't think you'll run Mystery Egg in the aggro deck, because obviously you want your beast to get the full 5 mana discount. You don't want it to be a 1-cost beast that gets a 1-cost discount for 5 mana on a 0/3. Disgusting. You really need to get this full 5 mana shebang to really, get the full value from this card. Also worth noting, Yelling Yodel is still going to be in the standard set. So, conceivably, if you put your Mystery Egg onto the board, your opponent probably doesn't want to destroy it, and if they don't destroy it, next turn you play Yelling Yodeler, and you draw 2 copies, by the way. Also, key point, they are copies, it's not the original. You get 2 random beasts. 2 King Plushes, that's, on top of the original one, that at the very least is 18 damage in charge, with a bunch of board clears on it. This is kind of frightening, honestly. I can definitely see it in some sort of Highlander, big beastie hunter deck, and throwing in a Mystery Egg with the Yelling Yodeler. I can see that. Value, control hunter. Very interesting. Also, I said a few big beasties were rotating out. Here's another big beastie for you to play with. Tyrannosaurus. 7 mana, 7/6 beast. Rush. Death Rattle, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. Immediately when I saw this card, I was thinking of Humongous Owl. Again, it was a beastie, 1 fewer stats, but it was statted better as it had more attack on it. Was also a 7 mana card and had Death Rattle deal 8 damage to a random enemy minion. Sorry, random enemy, not minion, just enemy full stop. And Humongous Owl did see some play. You tried to copy the Death Rattle onto other minions, or you'll try and proc the Death Rattle with other cards and just smoke down your opponent's face. Now, Tyrannosaurus is 3 less damage on the Death Rattle. There is also 1 less damage on the minion itself. It does have 2 extra health to compensate. The one big thing Tyrannosaurus has, though, that Humongous Owl doesn't have, Rush. So you can play this and beat it into one of your opponent's minions to trigger the Death Rattle. That was always the problem with Humongous Owl. You play these board of owls, and you were always susceptible to being mass silenced. Now, I will also say, and I've mentioned this in a few videos now, AoE silence is almost not a thing anymore in the game. Very few classes will have access to silencing opponents' minions, and I believe they are going to be... There's probably some other ones out there, but I know Rogue has a single target one. And by proxy, so does Priest as a dual class card. And after that, is there anything else? Like maybe Shaman has one with the hexing something. There's really not a lot of silence out there. So if you get your board full of these Tyrannosauruses, your opponent is going to be in misery. Real misery trying to deal with these things. So yeah, I think it's a pretty solid card. I think it, to be honest with you, I think as a whole package, I prefer the Humongous Owl just in general. It's very rare that your opponent's going to have a 6 attack or more minion anyway to rush all your Tyrannosauruses into to proc their own death rattles. It's still a nice beastie though. Still very good. Alright, now we get towards what I think is the aggro hunter package. And I honestly think this is the key card in that package. RC Rampage, 4 mana spell, summon 6 1/1 hounds. Any that can't fit the board, give the others +1/+1. And the RC Hound, as I show on the right, is a 1 mana 1/1 mech beast. It is important to know it is a mech beast, not just a beast. However, I don't think there's many synergies out there that require the mech aspect, so it's just to bear in mind it has mech on it as well. Okay, so this card is Unleash the Hounds and Rats of Extraordinary Size having a babby. And they came up with this. They came up with some mecha dogs. This is kind of a crazy little card. So Unleash the Hounds was, for every enemy minion, you got a 1/1 hound with charge. And it would seem as a great finisher, right? Because charge, you know, it's fast damage. If you're probably playing a big board, you're 3 mana 7 damage to the face. Very good for Face Hunter, right? These RC Hounds don't have rush. They don't have charge. So they're not fast responses. That being said, boys, a lot of stat lines potentially for the mana cost. So I did some quick maths before I did this video. 4 mana spell, right? If you get 6 hounds on the board, you're getting 6/6 of stats for 4 mana, which isn't bad, right? It's not bad. Admittedly, at some point, it's nice to have stats split up. When you split them up so thinly, you're always susceptible to some sort of AoE damage, right? So you probably don't want to get the summon of 6. However, if you summon 5, you're getting 10/10 worth of stats. You get 5 minions that are all 2/2s. I think that's a pretty decent deal. And even better if you can get to summon 4 or summon 3, because you're getting 12 sets for the cost. You're either getting 4 minions at 3/3s or 3 minions at 4/4s. After that, you get, reducing returns again. 2 minions, 2 5/5s. That's okay. But obviously you don't want your summon 1/6/6. 4 mana for a 6/6 with no other upside. It's nice. Don't get me wrong, it's nice, but there's better, right? So you'd probably save the card for other uses. The closest thing I can compare this to in standard right now is Swarm of Lightbugs, which isn't a very fair comparison. I think RC Rampage is considerably times better than Swarm of Lightbugs, and it's also in a class that can do more with lots of little minions than Priest can. And one of the things it could also do, not only just, getting a lot of stats for the cost, you can Califero it, right? Califero your board with the RC Rampage, and maybe you turn all of these hounds into King Plushes, if you're lucky. I'm sure people will be trying to do that, and that is, that's lethal, right? It's 36 damage. Or you get Tyrannosaurus, maybe, and you turn these into 7/6 rushing minions that start beating down your opponent's board, and any that die start hurting the face, and your opponent's like, oh crumbs, this is 42 worth of damage at, the stat level, the attack level, and if I kill them, I take 30 damage. Yikes, I'm going to cry, and I have no silence, because it doesn't exist in the game anymore. So yeah, I can see RC Rampage being both a great aggression tool, and also some sort of combo tool. So watch this space for this card. I think it is giga bonkers. Similarly, Remote Control. Generates some more RC Hounds for you. It's a 2 mana 1/3 weapon. After your hero attacks, summon a 1/1 hound. Very, very similar to Desert Spear, but for 1 less mana. Desert Spear saw some play back in, I think it was Saviors of Uldum, right? You would attack with your Desert Spear, you would get a 1/1 Locust with Rush. To be fair, I think part of the questline for Uldum or around Uldum was playing 1-cost cards, and this was part of the way to unlock that. But these 1/1 rushes were pretty useful. You'd hit with your weapon, and in the early game, not many minions have more than 2 health, right? 3 health. ping it with the Desert Spear, run a Locust into it, and you might be able to, kill a guy and just control the game while you're trying to finish off your quest. Now, remote control is one less mana than this Desert Spear. Unfortunately, though, you lose rush on all of your minions, and that's kind of a big deal for the Desert Spear. So I think it is a big downside compared to the Desert Spear. I think you personally prefer to run Desert Spear over remote control if you could. However, as we're going to see some cards in the future, just generating tokens for Hunter is pretty useful. Useful because you can paint them. Painted Canvassaur, 2 mana 3/2 beast, give each of the friendly beasts a random bonus effect. Okay, this is potentially pretty bonkers. Again, you look at RC Rampage, this is going to come up many times. You play your RC Rampage and maybe, you have 6 mana, let's say. You play your Painted Canvassaur on top of that, and then suddenly it's 6 1/1s with random bonus effects, and they could be stuff like Reborn, Poisonous, Stealth, so you could put maybe more effects on them on top of that. Yeah, I think that's a pretty nice combo. Again, I think you would still prefer to put the RC Rampage into a board that only summons 5 or 4 minions, at which point you're kind of precluding playing the Painted Canvassaur on the same turn. But hell, you're probably never going to do that anyway, right? You RC Rampage on 4, you're just running everything to the face, your opponent can't deal with all 6 of the 1/1s, and then suddenly you play a Painted Canvassaur, and the 1/1s get even stronger. Listen, that's going to be a pretty nasty combo wombo. Also, an even nastier combo, Sneaky Snakes. Now, in the previous set, or the current set, I suppose, the Showdown in the Badlands, off camera I tried to build this aggro Beast Hunter deck, where your beasts were so sticky that your opponent couldn't clear them and just kept hitting them in the face. And it wasn't actually awful, it was definitely missing a little bit of support. And I think this set is literally going to give it all the support it needed to become one of the top decks. I think this will be the best aggro deck out there. I know the Pirate Rogue deck looks pretty spicy as well, but I think as a general just face hunter deck, or just a general face deck, I don't think anything will out aggro this. This will be the new hyper aggressive deck. Sneaky Snakes, your opponent won't be able to deal with them easily because they have stealth, right? You play your Painted Canvassaur on 2. It's not understated either, and it's statted in an aggressive sense. It's a 3/2 instead. And suddenly your 2 1/1s, they can't get stealth from the bonus effect because you already have stealth. So they're going to get a pretty decent effect on top of that. Now, obviously, you can low roll Rush, which you probably don't want on the second turn. But if you start doing these Reborn and Poisonous, it's going to be a real nightmare, right? Similarly, Awakening Tremors. You get your Awakening Tremors maybe on 1, you play a bunch of your Tremors, and then you coin on top of that with the Painted Canvassaur to give these 4/1s. Hell, if you give one of these 4/1s Divine Shield, you're having a bad time. If you give this Reborn, you're having a bad time dealing with this. It's going to be horrible. And being sincere, it's going to be horrible to deal with these tokens. And also, just a reminder, Ball of Spiders is rotating back into the core set, so you could play your Ball of Spiders on 3, maybe on 4 you play a Painted Canvassaur. Hell, maybe you play 2 Painted Canvassaurs. And suddenly these Web Spinners that have Death Rattle give you a random beast have multiple effects on them. Maybe it gives you more Reborn, maybe it gives you Taunt to force your opponent to give you random beasts. Yeah, I think this opening tokeny aggression with beasts, I think this is going to be a real deal deck. Also, in part because of this card, the new location for Hunter, Jungle Gym. 2 mana location with 3 uses on it. Deal 1 damage to a random enemy, repeat for each friendly beast. This location is actually bonkers. It's going to be nerfed. Or the card that enables it is going to be nerfed. Play your Jungle Gym on 2. You RC Rampage on 4. That is 7 damage from your location. And on top of that, you get 6 1/1s at the very least. Ideally, again, because you've been playing beasts almost every single turn, you're going to get 5 beasts with 10/10 stats. Your Jungle Gym will do 1 less damage and it'll only do 6. That is still an unbelievable amount of damage on turn 4. You taking 6 split up as 1 damage intervals, which again makes it easy for you to clear opponents' minions if they're trying to do the minion trade. Good luck into Jungle Gym. If they don't have any minions on board, they're a control deck. Enjoy 6 damage to the face on turn 4 and enjoy having to deal with these little puppers afterwards. Yeah, this location is completely bonkers. Yeah, good luck with that. It also importantly takes up a space on the board, so your RC Rampage is easier to give you the 5 hounds or the 4 hound interval. Yeah, it's just a match made in heaven, right? Like, you compare this to Blast Mage Minor, which I compared to a few other cards with this deal 1 damage to random enemy effect. For 6 mana, you got the 4/4, and you're doing roughly, like 6 or 7 damage. This effectively over the 2 turns is still the 6 damage, but you can potentially get 10/10 of stat lines on top of it, or you can get, 6/6 at the very least, and you're doing 7 damage? This is crazy. This is a really, 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 really potent combination for your aggro Beast Hunter deck. So, yeah, watch this space. Also a reminder, by the way, Kill Command is rotating back into the core set, so good luck with all of this. Jungle Gymming on 4, the RC race cars, and then after all of this, you think, oh my god, I've cleared the minions, I'm safe. They play 1 beast and Kill Command your face. Yeah, you're going to be dying into this deck on turn 6, turn 5 even. It's going to be really, really nasty to play against. And even more if you get, bonus effects poisonous, you can't even just taunt it, as they'll just trade one of your 1/1s into your taunt minion, and then you cry. You're really going to have AoE. I think almost every deck is going to have a sideboard of AoE damage, otherwise this deck is going to kill you. Oh, by the way, they also have some further support in Fetch. 2 mana spell, draw a minion. If it's a beast, draw a spell. 2 mana draw 2 is obviously very good. You're almost certainly running Fetch in a deck with probably just beasts in its entirety. Maybe 1 non-beast card, as we'll see in a moment. And you get a spell on top of that. Very good. Conscious Call did see a little bit of play, not so much in the recent times, for its ability to tutor for both a Naga and a spell, and that was 3 mana. Obviously, this isn't a tutor. You're drawing a minion, and if it happens to be a beast, you get the spell on top of it. But if you do get the beast, then you're probably going to be running, as I said, either all beasts or all, but like 1 beast maybe. So you're going to have I don't even know what you're going to work it out as a mathematical equation as, 1 in 15, let's say, chance to draw a non-beast. Then it's Conscious Call for 1 less mana, and you get a beast instead of a Naga. That's a really good deal. Equally a pretty good deal, Patchwork Pals, 2 mana. Get all 3 animal companions. They cost 1 less. By the way, the art on this card is adorable. I love it. Just as a reminder, the animal companions are Leok, Huffer, and Misha. And Patchwork Pals, I don't think it's giga insane. I think it's very good. Normally, these animal companion cards summon the animal companion to the board. This one gives it to you in that hand. However, they are discounted. So, if you play your Patchwork Pals on 2... Actually, let's say we play your Patchwork Pals on 3, because it makes my life easier. You play on 3, and on turn 4, you can play, a Leok and Misha for 4 mana in total. And that's kind of like a 7-8 stat line, with 4/4 of it having taunt. And then obviously one of the attacks is a aura from Leok. That's pretty good. I don't think it's absolutely insane, but if we ever get into a synergy where you're just giga buffing a minion in hand, like a hand buff hunter type deck, Huffer is a great target to get hand buff, right? Because it has charge. You get your Buzzard giving it +1/+1. You get your Bestial Madness, that type of thing. You give it the Yorgamonger effect, that type of deal. And yeah, Huffer could be just the great finisher for this Beast Hunter deck. 10 years ago. Well, not 10 years ago, but you catch my drift. Alright, I think this is the last reveal. You may have been noticing we haven't had the other legendary. Hemet Foam Marksman. 5 mana 3/6 legendary minion. After a friendly beast dies, get a random legendary beast from the past. It costs 2 less. Perfect. So you thought, King Crush, he's out of town now. He's finally rotated. I'm safe from the 9 mana 8/8 beast that charges me in the face. No, Hemet could potentially bring him back. So good luck with that. Again, you're playing your RC race car doggies. They all die after you play Hemet. You're getting, 5 or 6 legendary beasts from the past with a 2 mana discount on top of them. That is pretty crazy. It's not giga crazy. I'm actually not sure Hemet will see play in this deck. It's a bit too much value for a face deck, so maybe this will be more in the realms of your Highlander Beast Hunter deck, where you go a little bit later into the game. It's also worth noting here, King Crush probably isn't the best or the most insane card you could get out of Hemet. It's pretty good, don't get me wrong, it being a 7 mana, 8/8 beast with charge. But if you got something like Halazi the Lynx, then conceivably you could play Hemet Halazi, get a bunch of Lynxes with Rush, play those Lynxes with Rush, and you assume your opponent has something on the board. You kill the Lynxes and you get more beasts from the past. That's a pretty prudent combo, so I think for the most part from Hemet you'll be really, really hoping to get Halazi as one of the minions pretty quickly. Anyway, if you go through the pool of legendary beasts from the past, there's not that many of them. But they're all pretty goddamn good, I'm not going to lie. I think the low rolls here really are something like Wing Commander Itchman. You're probably not wanting to pull minions out of your deck. But maybe, getting a King Plush or something as a 6/6 charge is good enough. Similarly, I don't think you're going to want Katharina. I think you want to be playing these beasts for the most part. That being said, if you get, Swamp King Dread, I think is a great get. Hydrolodon would be a fantastic get. If you're running any of these Death Rattle packages, you could get Princess Huhurun. Is that how you pronounce it? Huhurun? I don't know. Rat King, you're playing a bunch of tokens. The Rat King, he laps them up. He loves them. Zixor is just long-term value. Halazi, as I said, Crush. Yeah, just the general level of beasts, really solid. So I think Hemet is decent, but I don't think he'll go into the face deck. I think he's more likely to go into honestly, I think he'll go into a Highlander deck or a big Hunter deck maybe. But the big Hunter deck's probably not going to run a little beast. It's just difficult to see where he goes into. He kind of wants to be in the middle between the big beast deck and the little beast deck. So maybe we'll make a mid beast deck. Maybe that's where he will live. Anyway, that is that, I believe, for Hunter. That's it for Hunter. Very rarely, especially in this expansion, have I thought that every single card could see play from a class. But I'm being sincere here. I think every single card that has been revealed for Hunter might find its way into a Hunter archetype. I think Face Hunter will be a new deck. I'm going to try and put together a Face Hunter deck at some point before I do my star ratings, but I can't see it being any lower than tier 2. It just looks completely insane. A lot of the support is coming back for it as well, which is very nice in the core set. So yeah, good luck to everyone playing against Hunter, and if you liked the Face Hunter deck, and it was obviously a popular deck amongst the people that were deficient in dust, let's put it that way, then I think if you could craft together this deck, you're going to be playing fast games again like in the past, and just accumulating gold for victories and playing games. So yeah, really cool cards for Hunter. Anyway, we have one final class left tomorrow. It is Death Knight. We've obviously seen the Headless Hunter. We've seen a few other cards from Death Knight now that I think about it. We've seen the Puppeteers as well. They seem to be leaning towards a red-green archetype. Are we going to just get more red-green cards? We'll find out tomorrow. Goodbye.